Hey guys, it's Brian, and like I said in my last two videos, and if you haven't checked them out, go up and check them out. I'll put them in the eye. It was practice out on Smith Lake, and then my tournament out on Smith Lake. I had some great active target footage that I wanted to put out and kind of show you what I saw. That said, I get a comment a lot is, man, your active target looks cluttered and everything. And I admit, I've said before that the active target screen recording that I get off the unit is way more cluttered than it is when I'm looking at it, actual time. So here is a screenshot. I want to take a screenshot. I actually want to take a screenshot because it was pretty cool the way this is set up. I saw this tree, and at the time I went to take the picture, I could see the entire tree, not just the half of the tree. I guess me getting down moved a little bit, but it has everything that I want to show you in this picture. You have the ball of bait right here. You know, you get to see the picture. It's not cluttered. And now I'm going to explain to you exactly how I caught them at Smith. Whether it was me driving around, seeing them on my seeing them on down scan, side scan 2D, and then using my forward-facing sonar, active target, to find them. So this is perfect because this is exactly how it was. I wanted the bait balls when I saw them to be between 40 and 60 foot. That's where I wanted the bait to be, so I could make a accurate cast to where it was. So there's the there's my bait ball again. So I would take my bait, which was a 3.3 inch electric shad Kitech, on a 1/4 ounce Scottsboro Tackle Hellfire Finesse jig, and I would cast it past my bait, and then, or past the bait ball, and then let it sink. I would count it down 10 Mississippis, and I'd count it down, and basically that's where I wanted it to be. I wanted my swim bait to come across between halfway and the bottom of this ball of shad. So it would just reel like this, and what would happen is one of these fish, there's fish over here, there's some down in the trees I could see, but one of these fish would just, when this little bait ball or this little bait comes swimming across, goes, oh, look at there, he's all by himself, and they would come hit it. So that is exactly how I caught my fish, to the T of how I caught it, and this was the best way to kind of show it. So this is where I'm going to start. I think I've got like 15, 16 clips that I'm going to go over and explain. This is going to be more real time, and hopefully I can show you and teach you something with that breakdown. So with all that said, let's get going. All right, guys, so let's just start talking. Right away, you can see this bunch of shad, or a bunch of bluebacks right there up under the trolling motor. And there's fish around it. There's some big fish out here. But you can see the little fish up under and roaming around these this bait ball. And this is a shallower hump and point that, look at the fish just running towards it. But this is a shallower hump that I fished before. It's got a lot of bait on it, or not, it has a lot of bait on it a lot of times, but it also has some brush piles on it. So I went and checked it. This was actually the first day of practice. Let me try to slide through it, but you can see all the fish that are on this hump, and you can see that's a massive ball of bait. I've added the scale up top for y'all as best I could, try to give some like depth and distance out I could, but you can see these are some nice fish, and they are all related to bait. One thing that I've learned for Smith Lake is that herring is, you know, king. Follow the herring, you're gonna catch the fish. There's always some big fish around the herring. And there's some big fish on this point. I think I actually caught a 3-pounder, and I'll put a picture of it up. I did catch a 3-pounder on this spot, but I'll put a picture of it up. But that told me I was doing the right thing. When I disregarded all the stuff that I'd done before and ran all the way up and got to this area that I knew I'd caught them before, told me this is where I needed to be. Now you can see these longer fish right here. Here's one right there. That's gar. Those are gar in that area as well. They were coming up and like gulping air, I guess is the best way you say it. But there's spots there as well. So you just had to go through this. Hopefully you didn't hook a spot or a gar while you're trying to catch those big spots. All right, right here you can see my swim bait coming through. I do some weird things like drop it down, see if I can get something to react to it. But those are gar. Looking at them now, they're gar. Here's another view of like the big ball of shad up under the trolling motor, but you still got these fish in it. Like they're not spooked by the boat. They're not spooked by the trolling motor or anything. They're there to do one thing and one thing only, and that is eat. And I've noticed a lot of times that bait will try to get near the boat because I guess it gives some shade and hopefully some place for them to hide. But the fish just keep following them. Guys, I'm trying to look off, but off into the deep, but I keep seeing those big balls of shad and these big fish swim with them. Now, I'm sure the big fish are mostly gar. There are some small fish with them. There we go. You can see, I mean, there's bait here, there's bait here. I want to say there's bait, also bait, but you look at this gar. Look at the way that the bait reacts to that gar. There's my swim bait trying to come through and catch something. It just fell right there. There it is. Me trying to get something to react to it, not figuring it out yet. I get it figured out. There's bait everywhere and these fish are everywhere. I had a couple gar bites on this day because it would be like real heavy and then nothing. And I know that's a gar. All right, let's go on to my next day. It's just massive schools. I can't get over how massive some of these big bait balls are. All right, let's go on to day 2 of practice. All right, guys, in this video, you can see fish again. Well, we can turn on my little marker. These are all bass. And you can see here in just a second, they're gonna start reacting to my drop shot that's just dropping. See my drop shot? You can even see my knot come down. But what we have here is we've got that lay down, and then there's all these fish. Look, you can see my knot right there. But I'm sitting over top of the lay down trying to catch these fish, and they're just not biting the drop shot at all. And these are some decent fish. This was one of those things that frustrated me the most on this day is, you know, just fish not reacting to what I think they should bite. Now, looking back on it, you know, with more experience, I know what I should have done, because this right here is the big key, the balls of bait. Like, that was the big key that, you know, had I been throwing a little swim bait, I probably would have caught them. Or maybe I was throwing a little swim bait, but I was not, you know, not doing what I should. Because you can see a bait right here that I'm dropping on them. You can actually tell where my braid is compared to where my fluoro is. But like not being able to get them to bite is craziness. So it's just weird seeing fish react to a drop shot, not bite it. But the big key was that bait. Didn't matter that I was over that lay down, or whatever. They don't care. If it's not shad or blue heron, they don't care. But this was also the day that I was getting bit on topwater. And again, you can see these fish get up under the boat. They don't care about the boat. They don't care. Active target forward facing sonar, regular sonar pinging doesn't bother them one bit. Look, there's the top water coming across. Look at them follow it. So I'm starting to think our boats really don't bother them as much, especially in deep water. And our sonar pinging don't really bother these fish at all. That's where I'm starting to think. All right, so now I've got myself over next to the top of a hump. I'll check humps. Had luck on them the week before. You can see the fish moving around. You know, there's fish everywhere. There's probably a little lay down or a rock or something right there. Maybe it's an old stump. But we've got everything going. I was trying to see. I thought that might have been something that. All right, guys. So here we are. I've moved on to come up on a hump, looking around, trying to figure some stuff out. Got some structure in this area, or we've got some like laydowns and stuff, but there's fish. Like there's fish everywhere. There's some over here, some over here. There's fish everywhere, and I'm trying to figure it out, trying to get those bites. Again, you know, fish around structure. I think I dropped a drop shot on them, threw a shaky head through them, all kinds of stuff. Just couldn't get anything to go. They're just, at the time, not understanding what's going on. Now I know it's all about the bait. Again, guys, I don't see this stuff, these lines when I'm out on the water. I don't see all this stuff. It's basically what they call it, the ghost tree. Oh, look at these fish right here. Oh, right here. There's some fish right there. But you got all these fish around structure. But what I was saying is I don't see this ghost tree when I'm out on the water. This clutter just isn't there. Or my eyes have been trained away from it. Look, you can kind of see some off in the distance here. That right there might be a ball of shad or herring. I told you I'm gonna call them shad because I'm so used to shad. But look at all those fish just relating to that little laydown right there. They're just there, but they're not biting. They don't care. Ain't got nothing that they want. So that's what it is. Let's go to the next. So on this clip, we're gonna see. Basically, we've got a big ball of bait in this area right here. And look at the fish with it. This fish just pushing it. Get the trolling motor back on it, Brian. There you go. It's just just massive schools of herring. I mean, you're looking at, this is like 20 feet high of schools, and watch the fish go in there. Here, let me back that back up for just a tad second. Watch this fish swim into the bait balls. That's crazy. Like, that's stuff that you don't ever really see. And I've seen a lot of it with my active target. Watch fish blow through bait balls. It's fascinating when you see it. Sometimes I watch more of what's happening with the fish than I actually fish sometimes. That's why I can't just stare at my electronics, because it fascinates me. This stuff fascinates me. It's another reason to record, because you can come back and watch it later and see all these cool things. But these are all, pretty decent fish. And just, they're staying right with those shad balls, those herring balls, like it's nothing. All right, guys, so here, let's see if I can point this out to y'all. Here is a laydown in this area right here. And you can see the fish in the laydown. I think that's my bait going up. I'm just trying to slow reel it up. But you can see these fish moving in this laydown. One thing that, looking back on it, one thing I'd like to have tried is drop just Damiki down there on them. See if I could get bit. But then again, you got these big fish roaming around up here. Like they don't care. They're just roaming. Old herring chasers. They don't care. There goes my drop shot, trying to get down in that pile to get it. That right there is my knot. You got my braid, and there's actually like a knot right there that you can actually pick up. That's why I like my sensitivity up. Oh, here comes a big ball of shad, or herring. Herring. I'll get it right before this is over. Because the bait don't care, I don't think these fish care. One iota. About. Look at the fish off in the distance. All these fish off in the distance on this shad or herring ball. I'm saying that way too much. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, so this next one, I think this happens a lot. You'll see multiple shad balls. And these are pretty big shad balls. They don't look it on this screen, but if those are like 10 foot high. 10 by 10. These are massive herring balls. And they're just roaming around. They might be split up, but here comes some fish right at them. They're fixing to come bust these balls up. Like, there comes two off the bottom. There's my top water. I just saw it splash across the top. But more and more guys, Smith Lake is herring related. Now that's just my opinion, but what I've learned in my recent couple years is if you don't have the herring around, you're not going to catch the bigger fish. That's just my opinion, because the bigger roamers, they're going to stay right there with the buffet all the time. So that is what it looks like. I think of all of practice. Well, I'm not, and then I will go pull up. Yep, we're going to go pull up the day of the tournament. So let's go do that. All right, guys. So here we go. We got a brush pile down here. Y'all can kind of see it. We got some fish in it. Fish around it. Got a bait ball. To me, that's prime. You can kind of see my line. I'm trying to drop a drop shot down in it to get a bite, just not doing it. You can see right here, that right there is key. There's these fish up close to where that bait is. Oh! Did you see him come up and get my bait right there? Let me back this up just a tad. Look at it, just a tad. I think I backed it up too much. But what you're gonna see is, there's that shad ball. My bait is gonna come across through here. There it is right there. Watch this fish run up to it. Whoa, we about got it. I about got it right there. That's what I was talking about. Guys, that right there is exactly what I was talking about just bringing that swim bait through those shad or right below those shad. That's exactly what I was talking about. It's a great depiction of it. Guys, I think we're still in the same little area. You can see the laydown is in this area right there. You can see these fish moving around. Some big fish too. Those are some good fish right there. Good fish. I think this is a laydown as well. You can kind of see that laydown, but you can see all those fish up under it. Look at them moving around. Here's my bait ball. These fish all around it. And there you go. There's just some fish swimming and looking off into the deep water. But see all that laydown's right in this area. I'm trying to catch some fish out of it. And I think this is before I finally get figured out what I needed to do. So let's go on to some more footage right quick. Guys, so, here's a good one. See that big bait ball right here. We got fish all up under it. Come on, go back to it. Yeah, there you go. Oh, they feeding. Got a big set of... Got a big set of fish over here. I think there's a brush pile. But you got that. Look, they're following my swim bait up. Look at that big school following that swim bait up. Didn't get a bite, but look. Look at all the fish around these areas. I mean, just some good fish around bait balls. I can't say it enough. That was the key. I know I've said it way too many times in this video. The key too is also seeing which ones will bite. Those ones following your bait, those will bite. You just got to figure out how to get them to bite. Figure what they need. I think this is, yeah. So this right here is a big school of fish. And you can actually see that I've actually got one on. And this, he's here. And I'm fighting him. And this big school of fish that followed him up. Like all of his buddies are in this area, and I was pulling him up there. He still ain't in, and I keep pulling him up. That would have been awesome to have. I think I mentioned it before, 2 people on the boat fishing, because somebody could have like been back in there, dropped down, and that was prime. Guys, this one is a little rock pile I found. I think it's a rock pile, but it's just covered in bait. Let me do my little thing. Here's my little rock pile. It's got bait all around it, and there's fish all around it. There's fish with that big school bait. They're living on a rock, eating bait. They've got it made in the shade on that one. Guys, here again we've got some bait roaming around. And then you can just see the fish, the bigger fish in it. Fish over here. You can actually kind of tell that there's a fish in the middle of the school, and there's a big fish below it. You can see the big fish below it. But did y'all see that fish in the school right there? Come on, Brian, get it. There's a fish right here, and he is in the school eating those fish and running that ball of shad. Like I said before, you could see these fish blow through the shad or blow through the herring, and it's amazing. And then there's big fish all around them. Like there's big fish at the bottom. I think that goes to the old saying where like the big fish roam below the balls or the bait. And when the little fish are running through it, you know, they send Junior, hey Junior, go run through that bait, and he runs through it and stuns some of them, and they start falling. Well, the big guys, the big fat ones, are just sitting down below, just eating them, because they ain't got to use any energy. There ain't no point in using energy. They can just sit down in their little lay down and brush pile and eat fish. There's my bait going right through. I didn't get it down enough, it looks like. But that's it. That's the big key to everything that I did. God, you can see them right there. See the fish just coming down away from the bait. You know, they've chasing stuff through it. But that's my little swim bait right there. Just run real right through them. Trying to get my little swim bait to go right through that ball of bait or right below that ball of bait, and hopefully I can get something to get it there. Yep, that was my little swim bait. You saw my little swim bait. Big fish around it, didn't get it. Didn't look like enough like a shad. Y'all can see that. Let me back it up a little bit. Oh, I didn't go back far enough. That's my bad. Let's see. There we go. So yeah, my bait's gonna come right across through here. And there's my bait right in there. One of those trying to let it drop, see if I can't get something to come up and hit on it a little bit. Hopefully get a bite. It's a massive ball. And you can just, such a massive ball, and there's just fish all in the middle of it, below it, eating. It's just one of those great things to see. All right, guys. And I know I've rambled, and there's probably way too much in here, and it's the same old stuff, but I really hope this helps you out in the grand scheme of things. If you have any questions, I'll gladly answer them. If there's anything you need from me, just leave a comment. You can direct message me on my Instagram, which is Brian Wildman Fishing. Catch me on TikTok. I post videos on TikTok as well. It's just Brian Wildman. So let's just go ahead and take care of the YouTube business. If you haven't already, please go down and hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. You know, hit the like button. Ding the bell. I appreciate every person who watches my videos and subscribes. It's actually daunting that you want to hear me talk. I don't even want to hear me talk sometimes. So I guess that's it, guys. I got some more footage of this that I'm going to do. It probably wouldn't take that long, but I'm going to do some more of this footage. I just got to get the time and hopefully get better. I've been sick for almost a month and a half. It went from the flu to I got COVID. So it happens. We're starting to get better, and we're starting to get on the other side of it. So with all that said, guys, thank you for watching. And stay safe, tight lines, and we'll see you on the water.